choir. Is everybody ready to stand up and start their day with love? All right, let's do it. I start my day with love. When I start my day with love, that's what I get more of, is love. Yeah! I start my day with love. When I start my day with love, that's what I get more of, is love. Love, love, 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 love. Peace. I start my day with peace. When I start my day with peace, I feel that sweet release of peace. I start my day with peace. When I start my day with peace, I feel that sweet release of peace. Peace, peace, 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 peace. Joy. I start my day with joy. When I start my day with joy, everything I do is infused with joy. I start my day with joy. When I start my day with joy, everything I do is infused with joy. Joy, joy, joy. Joy, joy, joy. Joy, joy, joy. Joy, joy, joy. Okay, listen carefully. I start my day with love. I start my day with peace. I start my day with joy, and I feel that sweet release. I start my day with love. I start my day with peace. I start my day with joy, and I feel that sweet release. I start my day with love. I start my day with peace. I start my day with joy, and I feel that sweet release. One more. I start my day with love. I start my day with peace. I start my day with joy, and I feel that sweet release. Woo! Woo!
Anton Miserak and Laura Berryhill and Julie Wright and our CSL Unity Inspire Choir. Wow. Good way to start, huh? Good morning, everybody. Good to see you all. I'm Kimberly Hawkins, Senior Minister here. I love welcoming you. We are Unity of Medford in partnership, I'm going to reverse it today, in partnership with Center for Spiritual Living Rogue Valley. We're a progressive, inclusive spiritual community. We teach spiritual tools to transform personal lives and help make a world that works for everybody. So we welcome you no matter where you may happen to be on your own personal spiritual journey. There are many paths, one God. If there's anyone here for the very first time, we'd love you to raise your hand. We promise we will not follow you home. We just want to give you a little love. Anybody here for the first time? Welcome. Welcome. And if you didn't get a welcome packet, raise your hand and one of our ambassadors or ushers will give you a welcome packet. Vivian, you got one there? All right. Also, a big welcome to those who are watching online, either now or on the recording later on. We have a few people to introduce to you today, aside from our awesome musicians.
There's a second group of first people, the welcome packet.
Oh, okay. Somebody else needs a welcome packet? Hands up. Oh, great, great. There's Patricia for you. Thank you. Thank you, Anton. Many eyes are needed here. So, cast of characters this morning. Carol Wythe is our practitioner who will be doing our opening prayer and reading. Rev Kim Bebo, where are you? Rev Kim Bebo did a beautiful meditation this morning. Thank you, Rev. And she's holding high watch, praying throughout the service for the highest and best for everybody here. Let's see, our video crew. So we are recognizing our volunteers this month and probably next month. We could not function without our amazing volunteers. So we have a video broadcasting team that broadcasts live every Sunday, and they've been doing it even through COVID on both our YouTube channel and our Facebook page. So if there's a Sunday you can't make it here, you don't have to miss the service. So I want to recognize, please stand up as I recognize you, and we'll give you some love. Bill and Connie Miner, Jason Rummel, Shannon Schnibbe, who's already standing, Corey Rennick, Vivian Lacey, raise your hand, and Ben Rummel, who is not here today. And I also want to recognize our sound engineer, Tom Frederick. Where are you, Tom? Yes, thank you. Thank you all so very much for all you do. All right, I want to make sure I'm not forgetting anything. Turn off cell phones, please, if you haven't already, or put them on airplane mode. And let's see, I think it's time to take a deep breath, collective deep breath. We're going to turn it over to our musicians in preparation for our prayer. And I'm going to ask that after this particular song, you hold your applause so that we can stay in that sacred space and go right into prayer.
Let's take a deep, centering breath and go within to that beautiful heart that holds so much love. We felt it when we first walked in this room, and all the joy and love and companionship that was extended and is extended in every moment. I am so grateful to be in this place, this sacred, holy place, where we can grow and become the beautiful, more beautiful human beings, or infinite beings, having our little human experience that is so good. And today we know that we are deeply and divinely guided by that guides each and every one of us, opens our heart, and fills us with love. I know that today our Reverend Kimberly shares from her heart, and the musicians from theirs, and the sound people from theirs, and the volunteers and the community itself. We all open and expand our hearts. The beautiful children meeting in the next room. How grateful we are to have their presence, their vibration of love in our community. And I know that this service meets needs for each and every one of us, and is just what we need for this blessed, beloved day. And I say, thank you, God. And so it is. For my reading today, does everybody know we're having a 50-50 raffle after church? Well, I just happened to choose the Unity Daily Guide, and there's a prayer or a guide on prosperity. And I thought, how fitting to read that today. So it goes like this. I give thanks for prosperity's many manifestations. I open myself to prosperity by placing my faith in God. Prosperity, inexhaustible, invisible spiritual substance, is the source of all supply. The story of Jesus blessing the loaves and fishes and giving thanks for the food to feed 5,000 hungry people beautifully demonstrates this teaching. As I seek to demonstrate greater prosperity, I focus my thoughts and feelings on abundance rather than insufficiency. I ask and believe as Jesus did, giving thanks in advance and expecting to receive. I do not limit the idea of prosperity solely to money or tangible things. I understand prosperity encompasses inspiration, guidance, and loving relationships, healing, and all the immeasurable blessings that give warmth, depth, and color to life. And so it is.
The door is open in this moment, and as I give, shall I receive. The blessings of my life are within me and around me, to share, to support, to believe. Let it flow like the river to the ocean. Let it fall like the water on the land. Let it circulate in gratitude, the bounty of my days. Let it show that Spirit is at hand. Let it flow. Let it flow. Let it flow. Let it flow. The door is open to commitment. As I give, shall I receive the blessings of prosperity within me and around me, to share, to support, to believe. Let it flow like the river to the ocean. Let it fall like the water on the land. Let it circulate in gratitude, the bounty of my days. Let it show that Spirit is at hand. Let it flow. Let it flow. Let it flow. Let it flow. Thank you.
Perfect song for what we're talking about today. They always manage to do that. I don't know how. So, for those of you who weren't here last week, we are beginning last week what we call Adventures in Prosperity. Every fall, we do a series about abundance, which is a quality of God, by the way. God is infinite abundance. And when we talk about abundance, as we heard in the reading Carol did, we're not just talking about money. We are talking about money, enough to use and to share and to spare, but we're talking about an abundance of all good things, all the blessings that come from the divine, whether it's harmonious relationships, vibrant health, creative expression, all of it. So I have dubbed the series, the 6-week series this fall, Diving into the Divine Flow. Last week, I talked a little bit in the introduction about what diving means to me. You know, when we learn to dive well, we spring off the board, but when I first learned to dive, I learned to fall, right? I bet a lot of you would just let gravity take you. And I think that's the image I want us to keep in mind when we talk about diving into the divine flow, is just allowing. We don't have to force it. We don't have to worry. We just allow. We open to receive. So I love that theme, and I mentioned last week that for some reason I took a look again at what my intention was at the beginning of the new year. I always have a theme, and I'd kind of forgotten what it was. And I looked, and it was, my theme for 2023 was, and still is, joyously in the flow. So it's really coming to fruition now in a new way for me. So last week I entitled the talk, Goodbye to My. That comes from the book we're using this month, Tosha Silver's book, which is called It's Not Your Money, Learning to Live in the Divine Flow, or learning to live from a divine abundance. So I asked last week, if it's not your money, whose money is it? It's God's money. It's all God, right? We're not going to take anything with us. Bonnie Anderson, Reverend Bonnie, is doing a book study, and you can still join a 6-week book study on this book on Zoom. And it's just, there's some awesome, awesome practices in this book to remind us of our blessings and to be open to our blessings. So today, I've called the talk 5 Steps to Living Fully from Divine Abundance. Now, a lot of times in spiritual teachings, you hear about steps, right? 5 steps. It's really important in our New Thought teachings, both from Unity and Science of Mind. We're not just teaching principle. We are teaching principle, like divine abundance. But we're teaching how to practice those principles. I went to a huge Unity church when I was living in Phoenix, Arizona, and the big sign out front said, Unity of Phoenix, Church of Practical Christianity. So we're going to talk about how do we practice diving in to the divine flow today. And remember, I talked last week about the news station where I grew up near Scranton, Pennsylvania. No, this was a New York radio station. I grew up near Scranton, which said, "Give us 22 minutes and we'll give you the world." It was world news. And I reminded me and reminded all of us that if we give God 22 minutes each morning in spiritual practice, in quiet, in listening, God really does give us the world. God guides, our synchronicities happen, our cup runneth over, if you will. So it's a great reminder for me, I think, and for everybody. Setting an intention is a very powerful thing. I think most of you know that, and my intention, of course, for this year was to be joyously in the flow, and I feel like that's happening not only for me personally, but for us as a community. The intention of Tosha Silver's book is to move from any feelings of scarcity or resentment about money to being abundant. Not just welcoming abundance, but being abundance. And we talked last week, too, about 3 other practices. She talked about detachment, not being fixed, attached to one thing to be the source of your good, whether it's a relationship or your job or whatever. About non-grasping. We don't have to grasp for our good. We simply have to believe and know it is God's good pleasure to give us the kingdom and allow it to come. And finally, the concept we talked about last week was surrender. Just surrendering, diving in, surrender into the good. So we don't have to be doers all the time. We can offer our concerns, our worries, offer them to the divine, to divine love. So are you ready for the 5 steps? Yes. What? Yes. All right. Step number 1. I was afraid you'd fallen asleep already. Step number 1 is to read daily the Full Abundance Change Me prayer. We read it as a community last week. We had it up on the screen. Rev Kim read it as I didn't know she was going to do it, but she read it as the meditation this morning, which was wonderful for those of you who were there, because we really breathed it in. I'm going to read it again to you, and I'm going to invite you to close your eyes. Anton's going to give us a little accompaniment. And we're going to, again, I'm going to pause a little bit between each line. I want you to just take this in. As a daily practice, I think this prayer is designed to affirm our deserving of receiving, affirm the abundance that is there, and allow the flow, and to offer any concerns or any feelings of confusion to that divine that knows all. So here we go. Let's take a deep breath. This is from Tosha Silver. Divine Beloved, allow me to give with complete ease and abundance, knowing that you are the unlimited source of all. Let me be an easy, open conduit for prosperity. Let me trust that all my own needs are always met in amazing ways, and that it's safe to give freely as my heart guides. And equally, let me feel wildly open to receive. May I know my own value, beauty, worthiness without question. Let me allow others the supreme pleasure of giving to me. May I feel worthy to receive in every possible way. Change me into one who can fully love, forgive, and accept myself, so I may carry your light without restriction. Let everything that needs to go, go. Let everything that needs to come, come. I am utterly your own. You are me, and I am you. We are one. All is well. Amen, and so it is. So the invitation is to start your day this next 5 or 6 weeks with that prayer and watch what happens. I have a story I'll tell you in a little bit about what happened with one of Tosha Silver's students when she taught these principles to her own group. So that's step number 1. Step number 2, I'm sure most, if not all of you, have heard this recommendation in all kinds of programs about abundance. Step number 2 is start cleaning your house. And by the way, you don't have to write these down because there's a handout coming around after the offering with the 5 steps for you and the prayer. Start cleaning your house. So I started this, trying to practice what I preach, right? I started this several weeks ago, and oh boy, I think I moved here 8 years ago, and moving is always a great way to clear, right? I mean, I got rid of 100 books and then accumulated more than 100 after I got here. I got rid of a lot of stuff, but I'd like to move in a way every 5 years. It might help clear out, but I don't. So here's one of the things I did is I went through my closet, and I took a bunch of stuff to, it's called Hopeful, the new Rogue Retreat thrift shop that supports unhoused people. So how cool is that? They raise money to help unhoused people. I took some of it, quite frankly, to a consignment shop to create a little flow for myself. And I found one item of clothing. She's not here today, but to a dear friend in our community, because when I looked at this item of clothing, I hadn't been wearing it, but it looked like her. And sure enough, I gave it to her, and she was thrilled. So it felt good. And what I'm finding is, as I continue to clear and clean, there's momentum. I mean, I don't know, how many of you have closets or drawers that are stuffed with stuff that is pretty cluttered? Yeah, I'd say probably most of you. So one way to do it is to start with one thing, because it can be overwhelming. One drawer, right? One shelf in the garage, the till in the car. I mean, you'll find surprises in there, I'm sure, much of which can be thrown, but some of which might be able to be used again. I think it was Catherine Ponder that said the universe abhors a vacuum. So when we clear space, when we release, let what needs to go, go. When we release those things that we're not using anymore and we pass them on, we feed the circulation, and we create a vacuum for new good to come into our lives. Not just materially, but in all ways. Marie Kondo's advice, of course, was to release anything that doesn't give you joy. So if you hold something in your hand, does it give me joy? Well, if it doesn't, get rid of it. One of the tricks my mom taught me, and there's another trick as well, in terms of clothing, because you all know I love clothes, but you can only have so many clothes in your closet, right? My mom used to say, if you haven't worn something for an entire season, get rid of it. Now, I think there's a few exceptions, especially as a female. If I have a really fancy outfit that I don't have a use for every year, but maybe there's a New Year's Eve party or something, right, I might hang on to it. But as a general rule, if you haven't worn it in a season or a year, let it go, right? The other trick is to take the hangers in your closet and turn them backwards. I did that when I came here. And then at the end of the season or at the end of the year, if something's still backwards, you didn't wear it, let it go. But I encourage us all to start this practice, one drawer, one closet, one shelf at a time, and see what happens. So step 1, the abundance prayer. Step 2, start cleaning your house. Step 3 is stop complaining about money. We've talked about complaining before. Remember the 30 days? No, try going 30 days without complaining. Ha ha ha. It took me about 3 months, I think, to go 30 days in a row without complaining, because you have to start again. I'm not asking you to do that. What I'm asking us to do, we did that, been there, done that. What I'm asking you to do is to be, and me too, is to be conscious of our language around money. So instead of saying, I'd like to do that, but I can't afford it, I'm open to receiving my good, right? Because the truth is, we can afford a lot of things, but we're making choices that maybe we're spending our money on this, so we're choosing not to spend our money on that. But just to watch the language and not to get into, oh, poor me, I can't afford it, or darn it, I don't have enough, and so on. And this isn't denial. I mean, I'm not saying go buy something on your credit card and you can't afford it. That's not good stewardship. We all know that. So it's not a denial of what I have right now. We don't preach that. But it's an opening to, hey, God is my source. And that is an infinite source. And who knows how things might come to me. That dog loves the message. Thank you. Yeah, buddy. Yeah. So there are a couple affirmations in the book that we can use. Whatever I need always comes. All my finances are offered to love, and miraculously, whatever I need always comes. The divine is my source for all. So a part of this is to be giving generously within our means, but to be giving generously. I love this quote from Lao Tzu. Be content with what you have. Rejoice in the way things are. When you realize there's nothing lacking, the whole world belongs to you. Which leads me into step 4, which you all heard before. It's practicing gratitude. It's every day making a statement of gratitude. Now, we've all probably done that. Kept a gratitude journal. I'm not asking, and neither is the author, asking you to journal every day 20 things you're grateful for. Her take is a little different. Each morning during that 22 minutes that you're giving God, think of one thing you're deeply grateful for. It might just be your family. It might be the fall weather arriving. It might be your spiritual community, whatever it is. And spend time really, really feeling that. So you're embodying that. So it's not just a list. It's, wow, this blessing, I am so truly grateful for it. I'm going to take it in. I'm going to feel it. We're really reprogramming our brains when we do that. We're creating new neural pathways, and we're producing more of the neurotransmitters that make us feel happy, our serotonin. Truly, truly. You know, just to smile, they say, increases those good chemicals in our brain. Anthony Robbins said, when you're grateful, fear disappears and abundance appears. How many would like to have fear disappear and abundance appear, yeah? Wayne Dyer said, abundance is not something we acquire, it's something we tune into. So the more we become grateful for what we do have and really, really appreciate it, the more we feel abundant and the more open we are. I've often said, when we're grateful for the things we've received, we give the universe permission to keep flowing towards us. Just as when you give a gift to somebody, if they're really grateful and thank you for it, you feel like, wow, I'd like to do that again, right? It works the same way. And finally, this quote from the Sufi mystic poet Rumi. May the gratitude in my heart kiss all the universe. I get chills on that one because I think when we're grateful and we exude gratitude, that is transmitted to everybody around us. It is transmitted to the rest of the world. So step 1, the abundance prayer. Step 2, start to clean your house. Step 3, stop complaining. Step 4, statement of gratitude every day. The reading Carol chose mentioned the story of Jesus and the loaves and fishes. Do you remember? He's preaching. There are 5,000, and you know, 5,000, from what I understand in my studies of the Bible, were the men, because they didn't count the children and women in those days. And they got hungry. They all got really hungry. And that little boy came up with 2 fishes and 3 loaves. And what did Jesus do? He looked to the heavens, to God, thanking him for the gifts and blessing them. And not only did they feed 5,000 plus, the disciples were commanded, when it was all through and everybody had had their fill, to collect what was left over. There were 12 baskets of bread left over. Now, whether or not you believe that actually happened, that's the way miracles can happen. A Course in Miracles says a miracle is a change in perception. So when we change our perception from lack and scarcity to infinite abundance, the flow comes our way. Give thanks in advance, and that's what happened. So step 5, I know you're all waiting for the 5th one, right? Affirm every day something like this: it's easy for me to receive. It isn't easy for a lot of us to, it seems weird, it's a paradox, isn't it? Because we have things we want, and yet sometimes anybody ever give you a gift that you felt was just too much? Oh, I can't possibly, right? But we all know when we feel generous and we want to give to somebody, what a great feeling it is when they receive it and accept it, and we feel good, right? So we're blocking the other person's ability to feel that, and we're blocking the flow when we say no. Here's another longer affirmation for this 5th step. Amazingly, somehow, through the miraculous intervention of love itself, it's suddenly easy for me to receive. You know, we teach affirmations. It's one of the spiritual tools we teach. But sometimes an affirmation hits our BS meter. You know what I mean? Like, right, you know, it's never been easy for me to receive. Why would it be now? So I have a good friend, Reverend Larry Heil, I went to ministerial school with, and she founded a center in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Let me tell you, that girl has courage. In the Bible Belt in the Deep South to start a New Thought congregation. She's wonderful. And she teaches something called an affirmation instead of an affirmation. And what it is, it's a question. So for instance, you could say, how is it that it is now so easy for me to graciously receive? Do you see the difference between it's easy for me to receive? How is it that it's now so easy? Because scientists have shown that when we ask a question, our brain even subconsciously goes to work answering it. So you ask the question and then you let it go. You don't try to figure it out, but you just notice what happens. How is it that it's now so easy for me to receive? I want to tell you one story from the book that was wonderful. This was a student of Tosha Silver's in the same program we're doing, the 5 steps. When she was doing the steps, she told the author, one day she was at work, and her boss came by and said, "What are you doing?" And the woman said she decided to tell the truth. She said, "Well, actually, I'm investigating how on earth I could possibly afford to gift my elderly dad a dream safari." The boss left her side, went into her office, came back out, handed her an envelope with the full amount she needed for the trip. What was her first thing? "Oh, no, I can't." And the woman said, "Yes, you can. I want to give it to you." And then she said, "The caveat, the one condition is that you have to spend it on the safari and nothing else." And so at that moment, she accepted. They hugged. They giggled. She felt kind of like maybe she shouldn't have done it. So even when she accepted it later, the fruit bats of doubt came back. Ever have that happen? I wonder what strings are attached. What's she going to expect of me? Will I regret this later? Na 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 na. Boy, we torture ourselves, don't we? And a friend said to her, "This is not about what you have to do going forward. This is about what you've done already. You're worthy. You deserve it." And then she said to Tosha, her teacher, "I wonder if this happened because I just spent the last month cleaning out my house like crazy. I bet it is." So I hope that's some inspiration for you. So recapping our 5 steps, once again, that beautiful abundance prayer. You'll be having it on a handout if you care to take it with you after the offering. Just say it and feel it. Spend time meditating with it. The second step, start cleaning. Start anywhere. Don't feel pressure like you have to do it all at once. I'll tell you, if you've had this experience before. You clean out the junk drawer in the kitchen and you can see what's in there, right? You can see what's there, and sometimes you find treasures, things you thought you lost. I'm famous for buying something else and then realizing I had it all along, including books. Step 3 was stop complaining, to watch our language, be conscious of what we say about our abundance. Step 4, gratitude. Making a gratitude statement each day, taking time to feel it, to sink into it. That is such a wonderful practice. Reprogramming the brain and sending a bath of serotonin to make us happy. The happy juices, right? And step 5, in some way affirming every day, it's easy for me to receive. Terry, as I close up, Terry, I'm not sure how to pronounce her last name. In French it would be Guillemet, it might be Guillemets. She said, do not take anything for granted. Not one smile, or one person, or one rainbow, or one breath, or one night in your cozy bed. So let's today be the day we start to hand all our concerns about finances over to love, divine love, to the divine. I have a quote finally from this wonderful book. If you haven't gotten it, and if you're taking Bonnie's class, you have. It's Not Your Money, How to Live Fully from Divine Abundance. Here's what Tosha Silver says. She says when we start to do this practice, synchronicities increase. You know how that happens? Like you're just in the right place at the right time and everything flows. Talk about the flow. She says this. We talked about grace last week. Do you remember what grace is? Gifts freely given from the divine. We don't have to earn them. You'll move into a grace-filled, expansive reality where you remember that you're an unlimited being guided by love and a vehicle for divine source, no matter who you are. Let's go into prayer. So taking a deep breath again. Those deep breaths. Recognizing that there is indeed one life being lived here, one life in this room, one life on the planet, one life everywhere present, no matter what we call it. Divine love, infinite intelligence, perfect peace, creator, source, God, spirit. It is everywhere present, all-powerful, all-knowing. It knows the desires of our heart before we even speak them. And it is God's Spirit source's pleasure to give us the kingdom. The divine flow is the reality. There is no divine scarcity. There is no God who withholds good from us. Our Father, Mother God is love, is generous, is giving. There is always the flow around us. We just need to recognize it. I know that I'm part of it. As Rumi said, like a drop in the ocean, we are each a drop in the ocean of love that is God. We can't be separate from it. We can feel like we are. We can have this illusion of scarcity, but it is not reality with a capital R. So this day, I bless this journey we are on individually and as a community, to follow these 5 steps, to be in prayer, to affirm our good, our gratitude, to turn away from any statements of scarcity, to clean out and seed the universal flow with what no longer serves us, knowing that one person's junk can easily be another person's treasure. I bless each one of us as we sink more fully, as we dive more deeply into divine flow, accepting it, recognizing it, passing it on. Because as we become grateful, as we become enlightened and lightened by passing things on, lightning literally, we radiate. We radiate truth, we radiate light, we radiate love. And that, my friends, blessing that, knowing that can change everything, not only for us, but everyone we come in contact with. So let us this week send a ripple around the world of gratitude, of faith, of giving thanks, of being conscious of our good, being conscious of who we are. I am so grateful for these principles. I'm so grateful for the ability to practice them. I'm so grateful for this community. And I know there's nothing more to do right now but to release this word into the law, that part of the divine that is responsive, always says, what? Yes. Let it go. And so it is. Amen.
All right, we'd like to invite you to sing along with this next one if you'd like. And put your all into it.
God is my source, God is my power, God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. God is my source, God is my power, God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. God is my source, God is my power, God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. God is my source, God is my power,
God is my power,
God gives me
everything I need.
So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need.
God is my source, God is my power, God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need.
Amen. Thank you, Laura and Anton. All right, we've got a few announcements today. You know what? The beauty is I had 4 people that wanted to make live announcements today, and I thought, oh my gosh, we'll be here till 11:45. So I called them all and said, would you mind if I summarize, and you're going to raise your hand and people can see. But isn't it wonderful that we have that many people wanting to start clubs and activities and fundraisers and ways to serve in our greater community? It's awesome. So here we go. First and foremost, 50/50 raffle. That means you buy a ticket for $2 or you buy, you never get this right, thank you, Rev Stephanie. 3 tickets for $5 or more if you like. We're going to have a drawing at about 11:45? Okay, and 12 noon. So we're still selling tickets. We're going to have a drawing. And we split the pot. You get to take home half, and the community gets half. So it's a win-win fundraiser for our community. So where are you going to be selling the tickets? In Bosworth Hall next door, okay? So be sure to get your tickets if you haven't already. And thank you to Rev Steph and her team for doing this. Yeah. So activities coming up. Unity has a prayer circle every Tuesday at 10:30 here, followed by Tai Chi at 11:30. Reverend Bonnie's online prosperity class started this past week, but there's still time to join if you want to. It's not your money, 4 to 6 p.m. on Thursdays on Zoom. So let's see, you can sign up there or talk to me and we'll get you hooked up with Reverend Bonnie. We have a fabulous young musician coming here on, when is it? October 15th, named Jessie Powers, and she's going to be doing a house concert at Reverend Linda Rapon's house that afternoon. Tickets will go on sale next week, and I think that the capacity is limited because it's a house concert, so you want to get your tickets for that. And let's see, before I bring Sitka up, Kathy Green. Kathy, raise your hand. Kathy is a board member, and she has an invitation for a volunteer opportunity to serve in our community. During COVID, a lot of kids lost their ability to read or got kind of set back in their progress reading. So this is a program, a children's literacy program called Smart Read, where you go into the schools in your neighborhood and read to the kids. Can you think of anything more fun anyway? So either see Kathy or sign up in Bosworth Hall after service. I think that's a great way for us to serve our larger community. Ellen Michaels, raise your hand, Ellen. Ellen wants to start a travel excursion club. She wants to meet this Friday at 6 p.m., Ellen?
Well, I'll just let people who are interested.
Okay. And so, just like maybe exploring Oregon, one thought was perhaps the wild safari, but you may have your own thoughts, and she does too, but getting a group of people together to do fun stuff. So see Ellen after service, tell her if you're interested. She may have a sign-up sheet, and we'll get that going. I know when I first came here, Michael and Melanie organized a raft trip on the Rogue. It was a lot of fun, except the kids kept splashing me, and it was freezing cold, and they didn't listen. And I was hard, yeah. Kids, they were fun. Let's see. Prudence Madsen. Prudence, raise your hand. Prudence wants to start a satsang at her home in Medford to study Eckhart Tolle's book, The Power of Now, and to view YouTube videos of it. It will be 8 weeks on Tuesdays, starting October 10th from 3:30 to 5. What a beautiful idea. So please see Prudence or sign up both in the social hall. Now, Sitka Moss, come on up, Sitka. Sitka has a beautiful idea for a song circle.
I may not need a mic. Can everyone hear me?
No, you need a mic for our broadcast crew. There you go.
I love how you chose the one person who was probably the most nervous about talking in front of people who come up and speak.
I gave you the opportunity to get over your fear.
Thank you.
And know that we love you. Do you love her?
So we're going to be doing a community song circle first and third Thursdays of the month, starting in October, here at 6, from 6 to 8. And community singing, I've been participating in community singing for the last few years, and it is a no judgment zone, so if you've never sung in a community before, please still come. It is all our birthright to sing together and really find the healing power in singing together. And what else did I have to say about it? Oh, they're very easy but powerful songs that are taught through call and echo. So I would sing a line, you would sing it back to me, and then once we got it, we would sing it all together as long as we wanted to. And I'm open to loosely facilitating it, so if you have a song you want to bring, please do, and we'll share the space together. And we might have an impromptu singing after, if you guys want, and you can get a little taste.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
And you know what? Yeah, thank you. While you're up here, Sitka was a member of our community when we were at the Scottish Rite Center for quite a while, and I'll never forget, because that very first day you pitched in to help out as a volunteer. I think it was in the kitchen. And my apologies, what I forgot to ask you, okay, got your pronouns right. Okay, thank you. Thank you. It's important, right? We had a message about this, and we need to be clear with each other. Yeah, we need to be clear about our pronouns. Okay, thank you, Sitka. All right. So let's see, as always, if you're not receiving our e-newsletter, which comes out weekly on Wednesday, there's a sign-up sheet in Bosworth Hall. Prayer requests, there's a box in the back for CSL. There's a box in Bosworth Hall for Unity. We pray for you, the whole team, for the whole week. So please do leave your prayers with us. Also, I went to announcements and forgot the offering, didn't I? Okay. That's not a good thing to forget in Prosperity Month, is it? I know. Everybody else was wondering. So I think that's it for announcements. Let's have the ushers come forward, please. Thank you, Patricia and Will. Now, we're going to pass the basket, and we thank you so much for your gifts, your tithes and offerings. And after the offering baskets come around, Morel and Vivian are passing another basket. Feel free to take one of the flyers, which has the abundance prayer and the 5 steps. So let's say our offering affirmation together. Graciously I give.
Graciously I give.
From a place of love.
From a place of love.
Knowing that as I give.
Knowing that as I give.
So do I richly receive.
So do I richly receive.
And so it is.
So it is.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed.
So while those baskets still go around, I'm going to invite any practitioners or ministers in the room to please come forward. I think some of them may be busy with the 50-50 raffle, but these folks, our practitioners, are here to pray with you. And so the invitation is, if there's anything heavy on your heart, to come and spend 5 minutes and have a miracle prayer. These folks will know the truth for you and pray to know your good is already yours. The invitation also, join us in Bosworth Hall afterwards for some refreshments. Michael always makes 2 soups, and there's coffee and just some fellowship time. The raffle tickets will continue to be sold in there. So before we sing the peace song, I invite you to stand and join hands if you're comfortable doing that. I want to read you this benediction. If you'd repeat after me, something wonderful is happening through me right now.
Something wonderful is happening for me right now.
It is this thing called life.
It is this thing called life.
Life is in my mind.
Life is in my mind.
Life is in my body.
Life is in my body.
Life is in my affairs.
Life is in my affairs.
I accept it.
I accept it.
I bless it.
I bless it.
And I am it.
I am it.
Just the way it appears.
Just the way it appears.
And just the way it appears not.
Just the way it appears not.
Thank you, life.
Thank you, life.
And so it is.
And so it is.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other
in perfect harmony. And let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow, to take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin